wants to talk about how expensive Judaism is. And I went into this knowing I was going to have to spend a little bit of money. But no one talks about how expensive your conversion actually is. And these are expenses I didn't realize were racking up until I went through my statements and realized how much I was actually spending. We're doing a no-buy year this year, and I want you to join me. Shalom everyone, my name's S and I'm taking you on my conversion journey. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, check down below and make sure you're subscribed. And also make sure you're subscribed to my Patreon if you want to support me on my journey. I have written 2 ebooks that you could check down below. Make sure you download them before you continue this video. So I'm not broke. First of all, I'm very, very grateful to live in New York. Even though sometimes I talk about how I want to leave because of how expensive it is, it's expensive for a reason. One, I'm able to convert and develop connections with so many people, all the way from 5 towns to Muncie. And I've been able to do that because I live in such an amazing state. I know a lot of people are giving up on New York, but I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with it. You hate the cold, but you kind of like the seasons. You hate how expensive it is, but you kind of love it too because it's like no other place. It still is where dreams are made of, and I don't want to crap on New York for that. Throughout my conversion, I realized I was spending a lot of money. I wanted to go through what things I spent, what I'm kind of cutting out for my no-buy year, and things I'll probably continue to buy. We know Judaism is an expensive religion, but going into it, it kind of just hits you like a ton of bricks. You don't realize that it's this expensive going in. I didn't. I thought that I could kind of get away with whatever donations I was getting and whatever things were given to me by either my rabbi and my sponsoring family, but there are things you're gonna have to continuously buy, and it could rack up. And if you aren't on top of your money, it'll be going down the drain quicker than you think. My situation is I live alone. Everything is on me. Everything. New York rent, my car that I hate, my food, everything. Everything is on me. So I make sure that I am on top of my stuff because I don't want to resent this journey because it's expensive. You just have to maneuver things and budget and realize what's important. What needs to go, what needs to stay. So I went through and created a list of things that I've spent money on during my conversion. The first thing is gas. Although you may not think you'll be doing this, I live in New York and I was fortunate to find a community I connect with. But the community is about 30 minutes away from where I live. So usually I drive to them after work, which results in maybe an extra 20 minutes away from where I live. And it's hitting me. The gas is hitting me. And I didn't realize that I had to be doing this every week. Granted, this is your conversion and you could do whatever you want, but I make it very clear that I am committed to this and I go to shul every week. Unless something happens and I won't be able to make it, but most of the time I make it every week, not only to show my commitment, but to get into davening more and to understand the praying process. But it comes with a price. Gas prices have shot up and I'm definitely feeling it. So if you do convert, it's good to be in a community or to find a community very, very close to you. I fell in love with the one I first joined. Unfortunately, they do live far. But I do have families that I stay at, and I don't know if that might be the case for some of you. But it is good to have something in walking distance. If there were apartments for rent near the shul I'm converting with, I would move there immediately, but it's not that kind of neighborhood. So that's kind of where I guess I was at a disadvantage. The second thing I realized I was spending money on was gifts. I never go to anyone's house on Shabbat without something. I don't like to show up with nothing. I think it's rude. It's not classy. It's also not who I am. Even if I wasn't Jewish and somebody invited me for dinner, I would still be bringing something. So my rule is this: if I'm going to your house, I will be bringing something. I usually bring wine. And with wine comes I like good wine. So, it comes with a price tag. So that's something to keep in mind. You're going to do Shabbat with your families, always bring something. Sometimes you can make something, which is a little cheaper. Personally, I don't know if anyone is like this. I would rather waste money than time. If I could buy somebody a $20 gift or a $20 bottle of wine and it's gonna save me an hour, I'll do it any day, because you can make more money, but you can't get time back. The next thing you're going to spend money on is books. And I don't mean like cheesy Jewish books. I mean actual books, your Siddur, your Chumash, your Tanakh. You have certain books, like me, I purchased all of Tulushkin's books because they're great books to have forever, because you could use them as references. You could go and read them a few times to refresh your memory on your Jewish studies. And they're just also great books to have. I have a lot of books that I'm reading that I will return back to the library, but sometimes I'm frustrated because I like to write in them. I like to bookmark and keep them around. Sometimes you gotta spend a little money. So I realized I was spending a good amount of money on books that I'm going to keep forever. And maybe I'll give you guys some of them. Another thing that has happened during my conversion is how I shortened my hours at work. I was working every Saturday, every Friday and Saturday, sometimes even Sundays as well, for the past 4 years. And when I decided to convert, it took time for everyone to get used to my new schedule. And with that, I took away the busiest day, the busiest day. And it was rough for a little bit until I kind of got used to where my finances were going and how to adjust to my new paycheck, I guess. Things ended up working out, fortunately, but it was something I realized, like, I was way too dependent on my job. I love speaking full time and I love educating people full time, and I'm extremely passionate about Judaism. So I'm going to put my all into making my YouTube my full-time job. It's definitely going to take some time. I don't expect to be a millionaire, but I would love to create like a spiritual environment that allows me to keep my faith the way I should be. And I don't want work to come in the way. I don't want my bosses calling me on Shabbat. I didn't want that anymore. And I think by me changing my schedule and sacrificing that big day, that was a big money day, for me sacrificing that day and just to understand that, this is Shabbat. I can't work. And to just have that embedded in me really made me realize what I really do want to be doing with my time. So even though I make a little less money, I saved a lot of time. The next thing I spent money on is my wardrobe. I was someone, by the way, today is a very casual video. It's freezing in my apartment, freezing, and it's 19 degrees outside, and I'm cold. I wish you guys could feel me. I'm so cold, and I'm somebody who's anemic. I can't deal with it. It's crazy. I went to go almost sleep with my parents the other day. And these are the issues you come across, because I could go buy a space heater, but what is the space heater gonna do? It's gonna increase my electricity to who knows what. But anyway, that's my rant on living alone. If you can do it, stay home. Okay, so the next thing is changing my wardrobe. This is something I didn't mind spending money on because I could kind of get a little out of control. But I decided to purge my entire closet, give away clothes that wasn't modest, or a lot of jeans, and I don't know, it's not, I'm still trying to figure out. I know I said in a few videos when I was reading that book, Ask a Rabbi, right? I think I said that I will be covering my hair and I'm going to be dressing modest. But as I grow into my Jewish identity and my Jewish faith, I'm trying to see, am I just doing things because I'm seeing other women do it, or do I actually feel this way? So I decided to look through my closet and figure out, okay, what are some things that, I just don't like wearing, That doesn't represent what I truly believe and doesn't complement my faith. So I got rid of all those things. And the things that were left behind, they were still maybe like 2 or 3 pairs of jeans that aren't like tight, but like very, very like mom jeans. And I was like, you know what? I like them and I'm going to keep them. And then I had a bunch of skirts, which I was very happy and proud of. And there were just a couple like tops that kind of showed too much arm. And I'm fine with kind of like keeping it modest and classy. But I also came across a few of my headscarves, which I do love and wear, but I'm somebody who likes to style her hair. So I think I need to take some time and to see like what I actually feel once I get married. And if I can take my time elevating to that type of modesty. But changing my wardrobe has been something that I've always wanted to do. And I'm not talking about I'm going down Fifth Avenue and spending thousands of dollars. Like, I go thrifting. I'm a thrift girl. So I plan on going to the thrift store, shopping with my best friends, and just, looking for a more elegant style. So changing your wardrobe, it takes money, but it doesn't mean you have to spend so much of it. The next thing, kosher food. This has to be the most expensive thing on this journey because one, it does cost me time. Like there aren't any food delivery services that I know of that will send the food to my house. And I was a big fan of Instacart. And I understand ShopRite sometimes has like kosher sections, but like I've gotten food sometimes and the shoppers don't even check the labels. So I've made it my mission to go to the supermarket like every other person, pick out my groceries and figure things out. And I was buying steaks, I was buying chicken, I was buying everything because I like those foods and I like to cook. So I'm making all these things and I realized, oh my, I just spent $280 this week on groceries. What's going on? So with inflation and everything, prices of meat have gone up drastically. It really had a huge hit on me because not only, I have restrictions with eating now, I don't know if I could keep up with this. So it's definitely been something that I've been trying to balance on this journey because I'm one person and I'm buying all these foods. And if I don't eat them, I'm somebody who's also small, so I don't eat a lot of food. What is it that I want to eat? I always need options. It's definitely something that you should look into if you're really serious about keeping kosher. It's expensive. Items in my home. I had to purchase a challah cover. I purchased my mezuzahs, my Shabbat candles, my Shabbat candle holders, the matches. I purchased the menorah. I purchased the maksur. I purchased a haggadah. I purchased meat and milk dishes. There are so many things that I had to buy. I had to definitely come out of pocket for these things. And it's just making my home a Jewish home. And I didn't mind doing that, but it did take me by surprise how much I was actually spending. I'm also a girl. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I like things to look nice and a little bit cute. So maybe that's my own problem. These are all the things I've been spending money on. So how am I going to adjust things and make it fit my new budget? So here are the things that I most likely won't be doing anymore and that I'll be cutting back on. One, eating out. I stopped eating out a little while ago, but I was still like ordering food, and even if it was kosher, I was still doing it. For a while in the beginning of my conversion, I was just keeping kosher in the house to try to get organized and affiliated with it. Now I'm basically kosher. Like I don't eat out anymore. I don't order food anymore. And that has had a huge impact on my finances because I'm not going out to eat with my friends. I don't do that anymore. It's also really cold. It's cold everywhere. So I don't do that. And I just realized that I have a better time just cooking at home, inviting people into my home and, having meals here. So cut that out at least until my conversion's over. The next thing, which I'm very saddened by because I just love it so much, is I stopped buying wine unless it was as a gift to my families. I would buy wine, so much of it. I love wine. I'm on a white wine crave right now. I love it. I love it. It's an expensive habit. I spent an amount on wine last year, and I can't do that again this year, especially since I just can't. I just can't. I am on my own with this. I am being disciplined. If wine comes into this house, it's because somebody got it for me, not because I'm running to the liquor store up the block trying to get some. I gotta stop. So what I do now is I just drink water. I fill up. There's my water, baby. I fill this bad boy up every day and I just drink. And by the time I get home and I get the craving of, oh, I could just use a glass of wine. I have some leftover wine from my Friendsgiving that's still there and I'm savoring the last bit of it. But for the most part, I'll just be like, remind myself, Esther, you're on a budget and wine is unhealthy right now. Get rid of it. Cut it out. The next thing I'm no longer doing is buying new clothes for Shabbat. This goes along with what I said earlier about my wardrobe. Yeah, I switched up my wardrobe, but then I was like going to the thrift store a lot and just buying like cute skirts, cute this. And I'm not somebody who goes out a lot, so it'll only be used for going to shul Shabbat morning. And I'm like, you know what? Stop it. You're spending so much money. And it doesn't matter if it's thrifted or not. It's still a dollar that doesn't need to be spent. At least not right now. So right now, no more Shabbat clothes. Another thing I recently learned in class is that some things in my kitchen won't be able to be koshered once I become Jewish. I have a lot of china. My mom, I stole from my mom, and stuff she didn't use. And I'm like, why would I buy a bunch of dishes and things when she has a bunch of stuff hanging up for decoration? So I took a few things and I use them now, but I realized they gotta go. So I decided to set up a marketplace right on Facebook Marketplace and sold so much stuff. I was selling, and I still am selling, things that I don't use in my apartment, not only things that can't be kosher, things that I don't use, things that are old, things that I haven't even touched in months. It's also giving me like clarity to know that I'm getting rid of things as I welcome in my new Jewish life, but it's also making me realize how much stuff was just in my place that I don't need. And it makes me feel good that I'm making a little money on the side too. Another thing, and it's not because I care so much about animals. Listen, we really shouldn't be eating as much meat as we are, but I let people make their choices on their own. I'm very saddened by this as well, but I decided to cut meat out. I will no longer welcome meat into my home because it's just way too expensive for me to buy on my own. I'm not saying if I go to Shabbat at somebody's house and they have meat, of course, I'm throwing down, but I just can't buy it on my own. And it's so much per pound at this point that it's disgusting, and I can't do that to my budget right now. I would rather invest in more books and maybe a better course or more tutoring for my conversion than to invest in just meat. I got rid of it. It's not welcome here, and I'm fine. I'm getting used to it. And the last thing, another thing I'm a little bit sad by because I do love it, is I'm no longer buying books. I only bought the books that I need, and then I got a little overboard and bought a bunch of more. So I am a book geek. I love reading. I love learning, and learning makes you smarter, better, richer, everything. It's fulfilling. But I realize I have more than enough to last me 10 years, so there's no need for me to go buy anymore. I have enough Jewish books, I have enough psychology books, I have enough food books, I have everything that I need right now. So it's best to work with all that you have or get books for free from the library so you're no longer wasting your money this year. So if you guys want to be on this no spend year with me, take the pledge because I am letting go of all of this. So what I've learned about my conversion was, yes, I am spending all this money, but it is helping me understand every aspect of the dollar in my life. I'm no longer spending recklessly. I'm seeing where my money's going, and I'm becoming an adult more than I already am now. And I didn't even think that was possible. I feel like I became an adult at like 13. Just keep in mind, it does cost money, and it's up to you to decide where you want your money to go. So thank you guys so much for staying to the end and watching my video and giving me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon and following me on my journey. If you haven't subscribed down below, make sure you're subscribed, and don't forget to download your ebooks on the way out. And I will see you guys next week. Shalom.